Hi, church family. This is Gary West.
I'm Emily Taylor.
And that's Marjorie.
Yep.
And it's Thanksgiving time, and we wanted to know your stories, your family traditions, your funny stories, anything that you guys do at Thanksgiving, we want to know. And then what are we going to do with those, Emily?
You are going to email them to us. So listen up. Our email is thecastfirstassembly@gmail.com. Okay? So again, if you didn't hear it or you weren't paying attention or talking to your neighbor, thecastfirstassembly@gmail.com. And then we'll read all those. And we may not be able to mention them all, but we'll get to as many as we can.
And if it's something you want to stay anonymous about, just don't put your name or put anonymous on there, and we won't mention you by name.
Okay, we're looking forward to it. Send them as soon as possible. Thank you.
Well, she's sitting there with her Starbucks fall drink, and she does all the... Yeah, see, you
like
just
to the fall market.
Yeah.
No.
Not much anymore. I just like to be at home.
Okay, you don't do any change out any of your decor.
I put a pumpkin out.
How many cats? How many cats do you have?
How many cats? That's what I think. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time.
How many cats do you have?
Welcome to the cast. We're so excited that you are here, whether you're listening or watching us online. Glad that you can join us again. Hopefully you've caught up so far in the previous episodes. My name's Emily. This is Gary. He is co-host. And then we have Pastor Chris. He is going to kind of run the ship tonight. So you're in store for a good episode. We are going to get pretty deep, pretty real, and possibly very, very raw tonight. So just hang in there with what we're saying, and we're going to take off and get going. So we're going to start with first things first. That's not what I want to say. No. Scratch that. We're going to do favorite fall things first, and what everybody's favorite fall thing is. So, Gary, do you want to take off?
I would say, pretty obvious for me is just climbing into a tree and waiting on deer to walk by. It's something that I look forward to every fall.
And I'm worried about you because of it.
It doesn't make much sense to a normal person. You have to be a little bit off center.
I get it.
I'd agree with that.
It's pretty awesome, though. Good for you.
Okay.
That's exciting. You, sir?
My most thrilling thing about fall is not sweating. That's what I look forward to most, is not sweating.
You have to get almost into November now for that to happen.
I don't know what happened while I was away in Africa, but something happened.
We're 6 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Everything's,
It's ridiculous. Jesus, bring it back. September should be a cool month.
Absolutely.
Not the sweating nonsense.
Does this come with age?
I will punch you in your throat right now.
I was just asking.
Wow. No, actually, technically, men generally get colder with age, and women,
they get hotter.
They have a moment or
menopause.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then
he said it.
And then they get warmer. So Amy and I, for a season, were finally at liking the house at the same temperature, but we're beginning to go past each other now. So,
well, that's good.
It's way more than you needed.
Emily, your favorite thing?
All right, so I got to think about this. I think my favorite, since moving to town, would be, honestly, like Halloween with the little kids that come down my neighborhood and getting to pass out candy to them and their little costumes. And it's just so much fun. Yeah, I love it. Just the little kids in there. You can't see them, and then they, trip on your sidewalk, and it's a total hazard. It's
who's
fine.
Old now?
Do what?
Who's old now?
I'm just saying.
Oh, listen, me and the 90 cats is fine.
I got my cats, and I'm handing out candy to the children.
I'm telling you, old Mother Hubbard, right here. Just letting y'all know.
Okay, yeah. Good to know. Good to know.
I thought it was the woman in the shoe that had she had dogs.
Well, I'm on a roll there.
Kids?
She had kids. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do.
There you go.
You were close.
I was on the right track.
Is that the one that eats the fly and the spider?
No, that's a different one. I know an old woman. Oh, no, she did. Who lived in a shoe.
Maybe it is.
Ate the spider. Spider ate
Yeah,
the.
yeah, dogs, horses, goats.
Yeah.
She ate a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Did she eat the children?
No, I don't believe that's
No,
in the song.
that's illegal.
That's a different song.
Well, some of those were kind of creepy back then. That's just my thinking.
I don't know why she swallowed the fly. I guess she'll die.
If you're listening, we're sorry. So
I'm
just
not
kidding.
sorry.
You're not sorry at
Not at
all.
all sorry.
You're just figuring out the real us.
If we could see, can we watch the attendance? Because it's probably,
Dwindling?
yeah, at this point, it was.
Yeah. Well, it's nice knowing y'all.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Hey, so for real, what we're going to do today, every so often, we're going to bring people in from the church and just ask them their story. We think we've got some incredible people in our church. We've got incredible stories, and we don't really have a way to hear them. And I think we'll be encouraged. I think we'll be strengthened. I think we'll be motivated. I think we'll be stirred. I think the more you know somebody, the easier it is to love them and the harder it is to hate them. And so part of what we're going to do on the podcast from time to time is share stories. And I probably won't sit in this seat when we do it. But tonight, we're going to interview Gary and Emily. And so I get to kind of run the show as we do that. So, so we're going to jump into it. Gary, we're going to start with you because, that's what I decided.
Yeah.
And
Let's go.
So where are you from? Give us a short rundown. Where are you from? How do you find yourself in Bedford, Indiana? Kind of walk us that direction.
That's a long story. So I'm from Evansville,
Okay.
born and raised in Evansville. When I met Holly in college, and we dated, 5 years, 6 years, and then got engaged and married and moved up here. So that's how I got up here.
Siblings, family? Tell us about that.
So I have, obviously a mom and dad. They're still in Evansville. And then my brother, he lives in Evansville. He has a wife and 2 kids, a boy and a girl. About the same thing with me and my family. His boy's 10, and I think his girl's probably 6 or 7 now. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. What'd you like to do as a kid? Tell me about your interests, hobbies.
Yeah. Baseball, any sport, I wrestled baseball, basketball, football, then hunt and fish. I wanted to be outside doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. So come home from school.
Drop the
put your books down.
backpack, get it outside as fast as possible.
Okay, that's good. And did your parents into sports? Is that kind of a thing with the fam?
Yeah,
or?
well, Dad didn't. None of them played sports, but they were we were big baseball, St. Louis Cardinal fans. Being in Evansville, it was easy to go to St. Louis, so that was our family vacation for most of my childhood. Was just go to St. Louis, watch a ball game, spend the night, come back, that type of thing. So, yeah,
cool.
Always sports in my household.
So which of the sports is king?
Baseball was king for me. Yeah,
All right. So Cardinals
for
a stretch there were just heaven on earth.
Many stretches. We've had, I think we're 11 World Series titles. So
11.
yeah,
Okay.
only the Yankees have more.
Yankees. I don't like the Yankees.
Jill Evans is a big Yankees fan.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
is.
But we're praying for her. Jesus can. Favorite outdoor activity, not sport related. What's that?
Like hunting and fishing would be.
Which one?
Yeah. Duck hunting was always my favorite thing, but moving up here, this is the worst state in the worst county in the worst state for ducks. So
That's strong language.
I didn't know that.
it's true.
Why?
They don't eat limestone. I mean,
Okay. So where's the best place to go duck hunting in your opinion?
towards their flyways, the Mississippi Flyway, the Central Flyway. Those are the 2 biggest flyways.
You say that as if I know
So
what a flyway is.
ducks have highways in the sky.
Okay.
Just like we have highways here, they have flight paths that they migrate up and down. So the Mississippi Flyway is the Mississippi River, and that's where a lot of your birds will spend their spring and summer in Canada, and then they raise their young up there, and then fall hits and it's time for them to migrate, and they will use the Mississippi River as a navigational tool, and they'll fly down the river. So the closer you are to the Mississippi River, the more ducks and geese that are there. Mm-hmm. We're pretty far removed from that.
I mean, I've heard, what is it, the eastern fork of the White River is a major pathway for...
the eastern fork of the White River, yeah.
Major flight buzzards, path. I think, is the only thing I've seen.
Crows and buzzards, yeah.
Can we shoot them?
You can shoot anything. Okay. Anything you can pay for.
Okay. I don't know the rules. Are you allowed?
There is a crow season. Buzzards, I've never known anyone to shoot buzzards.
I just feel like shooting them would alleviate the circling that I see above my...
But then you got a lot of dead carcasses on the road.
Which brings more buzzards.
More buzzards.
Okay, never mind. Okay. Earliest church life memories. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So Mom made sure that we went to church. I grew up going to church, and that was mainly Mom pushing that. Dad supported it, but I always tried to get out of it. Mm-hmm. I would pretend to be asleep, or because I wanted to go outside. Like I didn't want to go spend 2 hours or an hour and a half in the church and not doing something that I wanted to do. So I always tried to avoid it. Mm-hmm. But Mom made sure we went. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your earliest memory of church?
Of church? I remember some of the Sunday school stuff. Being downstairs. We had a small church building, and the kids were downstairs in Sunday school, and I can remember that. And
you can still smell it?
You can still, smell it and see it and that kind of stuff. And then moved upstairs when we got older to the youth. I would say that's middle school, kind of like similar to us. It was around middle school. Moved upstairs there. We've had a church basketball team. We dominated.
Nice.
We had like four or five of us that played middle school ball on the middle school team, but then we also played for our church team. So we did run that for a while.
Okay. No, it's good. Describe to me your journey in the Lord. You've kind of given us some background, kind of some foundation stuff, but talk to me about your journey in Jesus.
Yeah. So I would say I grew up in church, but the church wasn't always in me. It wasn't till I moved up here that I started to pursue a life with Jesus. And it took God had to move me from that environment, put me in a new place, in a new space with new challenges and new teachings. Nothing was wrong with our church down there. It was just me always growing up in that. Sometimes you need a change of scenery, change of environment to grow, and that's what I needed. So when I moved up here, I was exposed. Actually, the first time I came, you were preaching.
Oh, sorry.
This was before you left for Africa, and Holly. So when we started dating, actually before we started dating, Holly and I met in class, and she found out I went to church, and she was away from home, so she wanted to go to church. She was looking for a place. She said, "Can I go to church with you?" And I said, "Sure." So I take her to my church, and she's like, "Your church is a lot like my church." It's like, "Oh, that's cool." So I come up here for the first time, and we pull in the parking lot, and I'm like, what part of my church is like this? Because my church would fit inside of this church multiple times.
Okay.
And we have a congregation at full capacity. We could maybe sit 120. Mm-hmm. It's just a small old church building on the corner, and we come inside, and there's the music's going, and it's loud, and people are standing. And I was in a Methodist church where they were just coming out of the choir robes and had some acoustic instruments and things. And I'm like, the only thing similar is the color of the carpet. Like, we have a maroon carpet, and you guys have some maroon carpet. That's like the only similarity. So moving up here challenged me and changed my perspective. But I sat here for a long time too, just sitting here absorbing things, learning things, but not necessarily getting involved or pursuing a life it was just, I don't know. It took a while to actually act on, hey, I need to get uncomfortable here. What I'm believing isn't matching the way I'm living.
Mm-hmm.
That took some time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
can you think of anything that, and you may not be able to, but in particular that kind of were moments of transition in that journey in senses of like, okay, was there specific moments or events or?
yeah, and that's maybe my story is similar to some that have grown up in church. Like, I don't have that wow moment. Like March 7th, 1986, I was walking down the road at 3:00 and wham, I had this awesome experience with God. It's been a building process, a culmination of things, different scriptures coming to life in me in different points in time. I mean, and even different people in the church. You know, Steve Terry was here, and I learned a lot from Steve and Pastor Bill. But it wasn't all at once. It was a journey. It was a building process. And I've seen other guys in the church and just seen the way they live their lives, and like, hey, I'm not there. I'm doing something wrong. Like, I need to find different ways to influence. But there's been some scripture that is, you know, the Great Commission at the end of Matthew. I'm not doing that. Like, that's what Jesus called us to make disciples, and I'm not. So what do I need to do? I need to change that. If I'm going to take this serious, if I actually believe this stuff, I need to start putting this into action. And then Galatians 2:20, dying to yourself and living for Christ. Those kinds of things hit me at different times, and I would say led by the Holy Spirit to push me forward in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think they're all, some of us have more springboard moments than just walking moments. We're all in different places and spaces, but
that's okay, right?
Yeah, that's totally okay.
Because it took me a while to realize it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's just because I don't have that definite date and time. It's just been it's been a journey. I'm a little bit slow too. If you have not, I'm not.
You are not slow, dear Lord.
It takes a little bit more for me to get on board sometimes.
No, I don't think that's slowness. I think I had a pastor when I was young used to say that God has all kinds of trophies of His grace, and he said no one trophy looks the same. And to expect that we all should look the same is unreasonable. Mm-hmm. So I think your journey won't look like anybody else's. There may be similarities, there may be commonalities. I think for some people they need those violent direction change moments. I think other people need that slow, steady turning of the ship. There's not right or wrong. I think it's, as long as you're growing in Jesus, as long as you're making progress, will we look back no matter what our experience is and go, man, I wish I'd have done this sooner or that sooner. I think everybody does. I don't know anybody that doesn't have some kind of regret. Yeah. So, no, man, I think your story is your story. And where you are now is where you are now, and that's beautiful. Like, there's we're not comparing against Gary against anybody else. Gary's against Gary.
It would be cool though to have that in your back pocket to pull out,
like your favorite sports team. All right, here we got first somebody got attributes and speed and agility and strength and shield. Like, is that what you're talking about?
Just that moment of that you could use to share with somebody that would maybe impact them.
I think it takes all types, because I can remember, I grew up in church, and this obviously isn't my story, but I grew up in church, and I can remember thinking, man, I don't have one of those moments, and feeling less than. And that's so wrong. How beautiful that you took slow steps towards Jesus progressively. How beautiful that you didn't need a moment where you got smacked upside your head. There's beauty in both.
Right. I am grateful, too, for the way God has handled me, because usually those stories center around something pretty drastic.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed living in a bubble where, both my parents were married and, didn't divorce, and Holly's parents aren't divorced. And we've just been able to, our lives have been just blessed. And I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
Sure. I also know enough to know that there's also choices you make along the way that take you this direction or that direction. And just because they're not T-junctions, they're subtle Y-junctions, doesn't diminish their significance or their importance at all. No, that's cool.
And I said, God moved me out of Evansville into this church, but he also moved me out of some situations. Like I said, I was in the church, but I wasn't living that lifestyle. I wasn't living a godly lifestyle like I should have been. And I probably wasn't going to change, and that was going to end up bad if it didn't. So he, physically moving me up here gave me some space and gave me the opportunity to step away from that.
Sure. But you also had to take it as well.
Yeah, and I actually I did basically sever ties with my group of friends. We were, it was alcohol, and we liked to have a good time and things like that. So I didn't really see it as wrong at the time, but as I grew in the Lord, I could see like, I got to get away from this. I got to stop this. So one night I did text. I was like, hey, I'll come hang out with you guys, but I'm not doing this anymore type thing. And that was basically the last time I talked or saw those guys. So it takes some action.
Sure. What's God doing in you now? What do you look forward to down the road? Let's start with the first one. What's God
doing in me now with this podcast is very is something he's doing for me, and it's stretching me. It's causing me to evaluate, I guess, what I'm doing, and causing me to study more and being just seeing things through a different lens, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you look forward to?
I look forward to this podcast. I look forward to continuing this podcast. I look forward to hopefully influencing people to follow Jesus and to give him an opportunity and explore, what he has for you. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to see done is people come to Christ.
Sure. I'm gonna turn my attention towards your co-host for a minute, but what do you want to share with people? What do you want to say if you haven't already said it? What's on your heart?
I don't know.
Okay.
Come back to me on
All right,
that.
I'll come back to you. Absolutely. Emily Taylor, I'm gonna turn towards you now.
I know. I feel like I need it.
Because we're gonna do this.
Okay.
All right, we're good. I'm good. All right, Emily, where are you from? Tell me about your family.
Okay. So I'm from Bedford. I know a lot of people already know me in the church just because my entire family goes to this church, and we have been going here since 2002, 2003. I think I was 9 when we started coming here. We just went to a little small, tiny church, and my mom and dad really wanted my sister and I to benefit from a children's program and learn more about Jesus. And so that's kind of why they had made the move. And of course, I didn't like change, so I'm very much a planner, and so I struggle with it. But to this day, like, my very best friend is from this church, and this is how we met. And so yeah, I went here for a while, went to college, kind of dabbled in other churches when I moved away for a little bit, and then when I came back here, I'm gonna be honest, I felt alone. Like, there was nobody my age. And I think a lot of churches struggle with people my age group, like trying to keep them from that transition of high school into an adulthood. And so I really struggled. Like, I didn't feel like I had a place, but I knew, well, my family all goes here, so I got to look and play the part, I got to get involved. I got to do this. I got to do that. I can't miss service. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself. And then I went to Mundell Christian Church. If you guys aren't familiar with that, it's in Lawrence County as well. Went there for probably about 4 years, I would say 4 or 5 years. Loved it. Like, I felt like the Lord was kind of calling me for a little bit to be prepared to like step into another church for a while. I felt like a smaller church. And so went there and, I did a little bit of serving here and there with different things, met some great people. I love the pastor and his wife there. Very kind. But life changed pretty quickly, and I just felt like I needed to be back home. This is my home church. And, to be surrounded not just by my own family, but like this whole church is my family. And so to have to have all that support, is just such a blessing. And so, yeah, now I'm back here and, starting with the podcast. So yeah, I basically grew up my whole life in church. My mom's family is very, very devoted to the Lord. And so I grew up them basically just kind of training me. And I remember my parents were very involved in church, and I felt like we were at church every night. If it wasn't service, we were there for my mom's praise team, or dad had a board meeting, or youth group. We had some kind of play we had to practice. It'd be anything. And so we were there all the time. And I do feel like there was a little bit of burnout in a sense. But, that just kind of comes with serving so much, that tends to happen. But yeah, that's a little bit of backstory.
So, likes, dislikes, interests. We learned that Gary likes to shoot poor defenseless ducks, and he likes to hit poor defenseless baseballs.
Yeah.
So, what do you like to do? What are your interests?
Let's see.
Even as a kid or now or,
Yeah. So, as a kid, growing up, I played a little bit of sports like volleyball, just because I was the tallest person in the class. Everyone felt, oh, yeah, you need to play basketball, volleyball. So I did that. But not too, I didn't get too serious into it. I just really valued my family time. I mean, fondest memories. We would go every weekend with my mom's family. For instance, we all, my grandma and grandpa had a boat, my mom and dad had a boat, my aunt and uncle had a boat. So almost every weekend during the summer, we would go to a different lake, and we would all take our boats, and we would have picnics, just family gatherings, things like that. We were basically inseparable. And so just spent a lot of time with family. A lot of my friends here from church, sleepovers, things, just growing up like that. But so now as I get older, I still very much value family time a lot more. And I'm sure I'll get into that, why I value it a little more. But turkey hunting, of course, is my favorite. So, killing things as well.
I'm surrounded by bird killers.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So mine's turkey hunting. So just a different kind of bird. They do not have highways in their sky. They don't really fly that much. So
No.
yeah. But that's what I love to do. That's probably my favorite thing. I had a business for a while, a little crafting business that kept me busy. Yeah. So just I dabble here and there, and now I'm just a happy dog mom.
Are you not crafting anymore?
Last year, and it's funny you asked that, last year, I specifically felt like the Lord told me I need to take a year off. I need to back away. So I was like, okay, I'm not touching it. And when I did try to touch it, I would find myself angry, and I was unhappy and felt stressed out. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not what I'm supposed to do right now. So I don't know why. No idea why, but I just feel like he told me to set it down right now. And if it's meant to be picked back up, we'll do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Talk to me, and you have a little bit already. Talk to me about your journey in Jesus. What's your story?
Oh, well, like I mentioned earlier, growing up in the church, I just felt like I had to play the part. I knew the Bible, we memorized scriptures in class, went to church camp, did all those things, went to youth convention, and they were all great. Things poured into me, but as I got older, especially when I went out on my own, like going to college, I couldn't really depend on my family to make that faith happen. It was me. And so that was kind of an eye-opener, and then I started kind of falling off the bandwagon in a sense. Like, I'd be here for church or wherever I was attending, but I wasn't there. And so I think I would like start finding things to like find my identity in. I just never felt like I belonged. So sorry, I just seen Shannon over there. And then it's sorry,
That's
bud.
not distracting at all, is it?
He's just like laying his head back, like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh.
Hi, Shannon.
No, you're good. You're good. So, you know, I felt like, and I'm sure a lot of people can identify with this. You feel like you're doing really good in the church and like your relationship with the Lord is really well. And then you're like, oh, this is going smooth. I can control this on my own. Mm-hmm. And then I drop off. Mm-hmm. And I'm very much a control freak. So I want to try to take everything under my wing and take care of everybody around me and everything. And it just got to be draining, and I felt like my Christian life was dry. You know, I would listen to all the Christian music, and, you know, I would read my Bible, and I'd have like 3 devotions sitting out, but I was still so dry. Mm-hmm. And so I just, you know, a lot of people in the church, and as well as you guys know, there's been some pretty tragic things that have happened in my life. Mm-hmm. To the point that it was just like, why is this still happening? But at going through that, it's like, okay, you know, wow, if I wouldn't be sitting here today, or I wouldn't get through that next thing if it wasn't for Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like each tragedy or, you know, event, it would cause me to be like, okay, Jesus was the only stable thing that I had left. That's the only thing that I could rely on. So I would always come back to that. But honestly, probably this year has been the year that I have really found myself deep diving into the Word and the Lord and what He has for me, to the point that like I feel comfortable that I can say I find my identity in Christ. So yeah, that was a lot to say, but
No, it's
there you go.
No, I love the identity part, because that was what brought me forward too. Is my identity wasn't in Christ. I was known for other things.
Yes.
And it wasn't who I wanted to be. Like, how tragic would it be to not be known for Jesus?
Yeah.
You know, after all He's done for us.
Oh, 100%.
No, I thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. And I'm just going to be real honest. I would find myself trying to find my identity in whoever I was dating. And it was drowning. Like, it was never satisfactory. Be like, okay, you know, like, well, I'll like this, or I'll do this, or I'll go do this because this person like A, B, C, D. And I'm like, well, that's not really me. Mm-hmm. That's not really me. And how am I ever going to find myself? And, you know, if some of them didn't go to church, some of them did go to church, some of them knew Jesus, some of them didn't really know Jesus. And I could tell when that would kind of drag me down. And so, you know, time goes on and you learn things, but not until this year, when I really battled a separation of a relationship, like then I really started digging, like, why am I trying to so hard feed into that person and make myself be more like that person, be better for that person, when all I need is Jesus. Like, He's already made me perfect, and in His eyes, I'm, you know, not saying I'm perfect, but I think what the eye opener was, and I'm gonna probably get a little emotional about this, but the last person, and I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, but when somebody hands you a list of all the things that you do wrong after being together for so many years, and tell you what you do wrong. It's like, well, does Jesus see me as doing all that wrong too? Because I struggled with anger for a while. Losing my sister and Waylon, my nephew. If thank you. I knew this would happen.
And that's okay.
If you're newer to the church, it's been a little bit, but I lost my sister at her being 22. And then 4 years later, I lost my nephew, her little baby, at 5. My grandfather passed away in the midst of that. I lost my job. Just so much. And then to have somebody tell me, after everything I went through and tried to work through it and become a better Christian, and from the anger that I had just so much built up over time, just anger and hatred towards people that their lives were perfect. Like, they didn't have anything wrong. It didn't, at least from my eyes, it didn't look like anything was wrong. But after seeing all those things that somebody had told me personally that I failed at, I just felt like God forgot me, basically. And so this year I was just like, that, this is it. Like, okay, you can have my life. Like, I'm listening. And I tried to go out on a date here and a date there, but it was just, it's trash out there, the people. Like, it's straight up trash.
There's so few of us good ones, Chris.
Ouch, man, that's harsh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm just saying. It's just like, what in the world is happening? Cat lady sounds better every day, but it's just like, dang. But, I realized the more I try to like put my time in, I'm going to go out on a date and do this or do that, I'm starting to get back in that old trend of, okay, I'm going to identify myself in this person or like this relationship. And it wasn't fulfilling. Like, and then I always would just come right back to be like, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? And I started counseling, which if you were listening, like, counseling is such a huge thing. And I remember you and Amy a couple years ago when I did not want to do counseling whatsoever. You were like, do you take care of your heart? Do you go to the doctor? Is there something wrong with your heart? You're going to go to the doctor. Okay, well, there's something, like, if there's something wrong with the brain, it's okay to go to the doctor. There's a clinical time and place for that. And so I had fought going to like a psychologist, and finally, gave in. I felt like the Lord's like, okay, here you go. I'm going to make you really uncomfortable, and you're going to go sit with this person and tell them all these things. And for me, that was like, I'm just telling them my weakness. This, I have Jesus. I should have my stuff together. And that is so not true. So yeah, just because you have Jesus and you're a Christian doesn't mean you have to have everything planned out perfect. So that very much was a benefit to get everything out. And so this year I started counseling again, after the hard separation. And they would have me write down like all these things that I was told. And then she would say, okay, now what does Jesus say about you? Mm-hmm. It's like, your anxiety is overwhelming. Okay, well, I don't identify it by my anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's just examples such as that. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like digging into the Word this year, the Lord has given me so many little bits, because I truly feel like I'm called to be a wife and a mom. I don't know when, and I don't know how. I do feel like it's getting closer. But when I said that to this new counselor, they just looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy. Like, I know what the Lord is saying. And so sometimes the Lord is going to tell you things that you're like, no, with that, to anybody else, that's going to sound crazy. Mm-hmm. And so I just had to kind of run with it and trust the Lord. And then in the Bible, there was a scripture, and I don't remember. I think it's in Psalms, but it says, I am preparing your table in the presence of your enemies. Mm-hmm. And my enemy is telling me, you're going to be by yourself forever. You're not going to have anybody. Like, your sister's going to be the only one that got, found somebody and had kids. And, you're going to have to figure it out all on your own, and you're going to die alone. That's so not true. Like, mm-hmm. the Lord knows the desires of your heart. And if it is for his will, he will make that come to pass. Mm-hmm. So I just had to come to realization with that, and then think, okay, it's going to be okay. Like, the Lord loves me enough and made me in the identity that I am, and nobody else is going to define me how I was. Mm-hmm. Nobody. And ever since I kind of had I was kind of like what Gary was saying. I didn't have this fulfilling moment or, mind-blowing event that happened. But when I was basically like at the lowest of lows, I just felt like the Lord was calling me to get alone. And I think help me out here. Again, I don't know scripture, but in the Bible, it talks about getting behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. And I remember specifically, like, I went to my home. I called my friends. I'm just upset, just so down on myself. Like, I've done everything right. I don't understand why everybody else is getting what they want. And I just, when I hung up with them, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the time. So I went to the closet that I have in my house, threw out everything that I had in it, and I took my Bible in there, and I sat down, and I was like, okay, Lord, here I am. Like, what do you want from me? I have no idea. I'm sick of doing this on my own. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be on you. You tell me I don't have to worry about anything. Mm-hmm. But here I am picking it back up. I lay it at the altar, but then I pick it back up. Mm-hmm. And so right now, my closet wall is full of like scriptures or things I'm praying over, or, I just got real. And, I just feel like this weight has lifted off completely. So now, if I go out on a date or something, I don't feel like I have to be somebody I'm not. Mm-hmm. Because Jesus is who I want to be like, and that's all that matters. So there you go.
There it is. First off, thank you. Mm-hmm. You moved quickly past things that are real deep.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can sit here today and say, Jesus is good with me and I'm good with me is huge. Mm-hmm. What do you want? I mean, you may have already said it, but is there anything you just want? What do people need to know about you other than what you've already said?
To know about me?
Is there anything? I mean, you've shared quite a lot, but I ended with Gary that way.
Yeah. So well, one, in general, if you're listening to this podcast, like, please know that you don't have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. We go home and we beat ourselves up, and like, oh, I messed that up. Somebody's gonna be so mad at me, or I'm gonna be mad at myself, or the Lord's gonna be so disappointed. No, He's a gracious God, and He always has new mercies in the morning, and I'm so thankful for that. So I want people to know that. And then secondly, I just, with my sister dying and stuff, I always felt called to speak to people one day, not necessarily like become a pastor, but just, I feel like I have this vision I've always had. I can see like a crowd of women sitting there, and I'm supposed to be speaking. Mm-hmm. And I always thought it was going to be about my sister and losing her and things, but not saying I can't use that, but as time changes, I feel like the Lord's calling me to speak to single women. Mm-hmm. And to know, like, to share how your identity is not in the other person that you're trying to find. So yeah, just it's scary. I have no idea when or where that's going to be, but it'll come. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, for Jesus to kind of help me get
Sure.
prepared for that.
I would suggest that this might be part of that preparation.
Well, that could be. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a single woman, but you did a pretty good job.
Oh, well, thank you. Which is so weird, because I used to be the quietest person in the world. And like yesterday when we went to go speak on stage to promote this podcast, I was not nervous at all. It just didn't bother me at all. And then I don't know if any of you watched yesterday the Charlie Kirk memorial, but his wife is an absolute force.
Unreal.
Like, I mean, blows me away.
Yeah.
And for her to stand up there and say the things that she says, I'm like, I want to identify in Christ the way that she does. And it's just kind of something I strive for. But yeah,
It's so odd. Like, we haven't talked about this at all, but like you, the identity in Christ is what is the same for both of us. Because if you would have asked people 18 years ago that knew me, being a Christian, they would not have described me as a Christian. And that's something that I want to change. I want to influence people like, you're talking about Erica Kirk and Charlie and things like that. Is something I would like to be able to do. Is I want people to identify me. One of the top 3 things that they say about me, I want one of them to be, he's a believer in Jesus.
yes.
So that requires that we live different. Because if you're not living it, I don't think it's not going to catch. It's not impactful.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I think also it has to be lived from a position of relationship, not a position of performance. The thing that you talked about is, you couldn't have performed more. You were at church all the time. You were in youth group. You were going places. You're doing all the things. You're living right. You're, from the exterior, all of the stuff is right. But then difficult things begin to happen. Life begins to happen, and somewhere along the way, that definition of self is now who I'm with, what I'm doing. It's real easy for performance-oriented Christianity to ride in when there is a lot of stuff going on, and God does tell us to do stuff, and there's an imbalance there that happens. And what's cool about your story is now what I hear is, Jesus is my everything. And not that you don't want some of those same things, but it comes from a different place and a healthier place. And so when it happens, it'll be right. When it happens, it'll be beautiful. And it doesn't involve you compromising who Jesus wants you to be in order to have it. And that's the fact that you can articulate that is phenomenal. That's super, super cool. It's taken a lot of hard work.
I was going to say, it was not easy. And it's still not. I have days where I struggle. I need to get my Bible out and read it, and then I'm like, oh, look, Instagram, So, we're still not perfect, and
Sure.
It's always a continuation of work.
Sure, and I think that's the issue here in all of it. That comment has come up quite a number of times in these first handful of episodes. Just perfection's not required. And I think it's important that's the baseline. Hey, look, we're going to build stuff. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to dive into stuff. But perfection is not required. Because if it was, we're all toast. And if we could achieve perfection, then we didn't need Jesus. So the fact that we need him illustrates his understanding that perfection is not required. And not that we use that as an excuse to not strive for him or move towards him or do what we can. But if it's not founded in love in and with him, then it all becomes performative, and then it's useless. So
Absolutely.
One thing that I struggle with is talking about Jesus, because once people find out that you believe in Jesus, then they expect you to act a certain way. And that's tough, because we all know that we're not going to be perfect, but still the perception is, well, you believe in Christ, you should act a certain way, you should do certain things. And I don't want anybody not to come to Jesus because of me.
Yeah.
And yet I think the most beautiful picture of Jesus is through is through our brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the best picture of Jesus is through our perfection. I actually think it's when he shines through our brokenness. And not that we use that as an excuse to go get more broken, but if Jesus really cared that much about us being perfect, he wouldn't have said, "Go be my hands and feet." He wouldn't have said, "You're the ones I want to send out." In fact, that's coming Sunday, but he wouldn't have chosen us,
Right.
But
you just got to get society to understand that.
And I think some of that is we've done it ourselves. We've somehow painted a picture, historically, us universally, that we're perfect. And I don't know where that crept in. I don't know what that looks like. Our tendency to drive everything to works driven and performance orientation has to some degree painted that picture. But somewhere along the line, we got to break that and say, look, we're all just chasing after Jesus. We're all just trying to get as close to him as we can. And like you said, some days we win, some days we lose, but my overall trajectory is an upward trajectory. And if we can paint that picture, I think we actually become more attractive. Those people looking to judge, they're going to find anything.
Yeah.
But they're not approaching it with sincere hearts. And ultimately, when they hit a crisis, they'll go, "But you were different, and what was that?" So, it's still the same resolution. My perfection's really, I don't even think the best picture of Jesus, the way he reorganizes my life and still shines through me, paints the best picture of him. And I think you guys have both shared that in different ways. Your story's not the same, but you are both trophies of grace, of his grace in your life and of his grace continuing in your life. And I think that's what I look forward to hearing as we move forward in testimonials of just, hey, I'm human. I'm like everybody else, but this is how Jesus has spoken to me, and this is how he shines through me. And I think individually, none of us is perfect.
Right.
But I think collectively, we can paint such a almost beautiful, perfect, but definitely beautiful picture of who Jesus is as we shine out. And that's part of what we want to do in this. So guys, kind of as we wrap up, I want to say thank you for sharing. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for being willing to be a part of this podcast. I wanted you guys first because I want our church to know who their hosts are. And you guys have shared that, and that's awesome. So thank you. Thanks for being willing to run with us. And the thing that's obvious to me in both of your lives is that now is the time to jump into this, because that's what I've been praying about. Lord, I think this would be cool, but I need people who can run with it, and it needs to be the right time. And what you've shared with me both today is not only is this the right thing, but this is the right time. And I'm excited to see where we go. So thanks for sharing. If you're listening with us today, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week.
This has been The Cast, a production of Bedford First Assembly of God in Bedford, Indiana. Your hosts were Emily Taylor and Gary West, produced by Shannon Hiles and Tia Hiles, and engineered by Tim Ray. Be sure to watch for new episodes of The Cast every Monday.